Good morning, I'm Joe Vodvarka with this weather update on the Friday night into Saturday winter storm. So we can see this morning, taking a look at radar, we do have a ton of moisture streaming out of the Gulf of Mexico, very heavy rain centered right over Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and we also have moisture starting to break out across the Tennessee Valley and moving into Kentucky. This area of moisture will advance northeast, and by 10 p.m. tonight and 1 a.m. Saturday morning, we will start to see snow fall into the area. Most likely, we'll probably see this northern side of the precip fill in and increase as it approaches our area. Taking a look at the infrared satellite picture, we do have some high-level clouds just south of the area starting to move up to the north, and we do have our main area of energy right down here over the Gulf of Mexico. If we look up here in Canada, we do have some energy streaming down that will phase into this system, and that's what's going to strengthen this low pressure system as it moves off the east coast and comes up north. Taking a look at our pressure map this morning, as we see, we have a 10-12 millibar low centered in the Gulf of Mexico right near the Florida panhandle and the Alabama coast. This will move northeast. It should go off the South Carolina, North Carolina coast and take generally a benchmark track, and normally this would be a perfect case scenario for a snowstorm, but the track is not the issue this time. If we look up in Canada, we have an area of low pressure where we normally would expect an area of high pressure to be in place to help funnel in the colder air, and that's not going to be the case this time. Okay, let's take a look at the computer models here. First of all, starting off with the European model, so we can see here about 1 a.m. we do have light snow starting to break out in the Philadelphia area. If I advance this, it does continue to snow, but watch that blue line here that says 0. That's the 850 millibar temperature. That streams north, but the surface temperature remains around 32 degrees, even in Philadelphia. The problem with that is, after we do get light to moderate snowfall, we do end up getting a period of freezing rain that could cause problems, especially if you're just west of Philadelphia. And I'll explain why on that in a little bit. Continuing the model, it does continue a little bit of ice west of Philadelphia. The city itself does change over to plain rain, which I do expect to happen. By tomorrow morning, this is already ending by late morning and into the afternoon. Maybe just a brief snow shower in the afternoon after we see about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain according to this computer model. Okay, the 6Z GFS that came in 4:30 this morning. This is the warmest of all the guidance that we have right now, and that essentially says it's only going to be a brief period of snow, and the 850 millibar temperatures are going to warm rather quickly, and it's not even impressed with the ice threat for the city and just northwest of the suburbs, though once you get out to around Coatesville, Reading, maybe just west of Malvern, it does have a little bit of ice. The GFS model has essentially about 1 to 2 inches of snow for Philadelphia. Less once you get south and east, a little bit more north and west, maybe isolated areas of 3 inches. Then we get some plain rain, and after that it just quickly ends on the GFS model. The NAM model, which is one of the coldest models at the 850 millibar level other than the Canadian model, does say it's going to start about 1 a.m. in the Philadelphia area, and as it moves in, it does have a very heavy band, and it actually has surfaced rather cold. But watch what happens on the next frame. See that 0C line, that blue line, not the darker blue line, but it does lift north rather quickly, and it changes us over to rain rather quickly. Northwest does get some brief ice, but it's not as much as some of the other models have. Continuing on now to the RGEM model. This is the model that accurately predicted ice for last Sunday across the Delaware Valley. Yeah, remember last Sunday? We had a 56-car pileup on the Schuylkill Expressway. We had another accident on the Blue Route. 3 people died. No model really had that, but this model did have this, and because of that, the National Weather Service has decided to go on the side of caution and increase the ice amounts. And this model right now is generally predicting the highest ice amounts are going to be right across the Chester County area, Malvern, Downingtown, out in that area. Same place that saw a major ice storm last year where 500,000 people in Chester County lost power for many days, almost a week in some cases. Yeah, it's possible that happens again, but right now it's very iffy, and I would lean on the side of caution. I would prepare for the worst, expect the best to happen. And this model also has generally 2 to 4 inches of snow for Philadelphia and 3 to 5 inches of snow north and west, with only about an inch of snow or less once you get south of Wilmington and well east of the New Jersey Turnpike. So let's take a look at that National Weather Service ice map. Yes, this map that they've put out, it is predicting generally a tenth to a quarter of an inch of ice right along the 95 corridor, including the city of Philadelphia, Saturday morning. The time frame that we would change over from snow to ice would most likely be probably between 5 to 7 a.m. and then from about 7 to 10 a.m. we would generally see a period of icing. It's possible this could happen a bit sooner, because the tendency with computer models is systems usually start earlier and end earlier. But any time after 10 a.m., it's probably most likely to be plain rain, generally from Philadelphia south and east, and maybe up through about central Montgomery County and Bucks County. Once you get northwest of that area, that's where we could still have some snow or ice going on. And then by noontime, it's really going to start to taper off and just be over with it for the afternoon. Maybe some brief back end light snow in the afternoon. So what am I expecting for snowfall amounts? Here we go. South Jersey down the shore, maybe a coating to the inch at the most. Once you get northwest of the Garden State Parkway through to about the New Jersey Turnpike, 1 to 2 inches of snow expected. Philadelphia, I-95 corridor, 2 to 4 inches of snow. If a heavy band does occur at the onset of this system from strong warm air advection, isolated 5 inches can be expected. Northwest of Philadelphia, generally 3 to 5 inches of snow. And as for the ice in this area, you got to watch in Chester County. There could be up to 3/10 to 4/10 of an inch of ice, and maybe that stretches up into central Montgomery County. That remains to be seen. That is the major wild card with this event, and if that does happen, 3/10 to 4/10 of an inch of ice on top of 3 to 5 inches of snow, that will cause power outages that would likely last for a couple days, because trees would fall down. And there's going to be some wind with this system. Remember, the low pressure system is going to be going up the benchmark track. It's going to be just offshore, so there's going to be some winds on the backside of the system as it's exiting, and the drier air moves back in. Plus, there is the potential for another weather system on Monday, which might add to the power problems out there. And once again, I'm expecting about a tenth of an inch to up to a quarter of an inch of ice in the city of Philadelphia. Up in the Poconos, this is a mainly snow event for you. Generally about 3 to 6 inches of snow, isolated higher amounts on the higher elevations. I'm Joe Vodvarka. If need be, I'll do another update later in the day. Enjoy.